waifus, am I right? These nerds think that because they see an attractive fictional woman, they automatically pick them as their soulmate. Not me, though. Like I would waste my life obsessing over a girl that isn't real. Okay, fine. You caught me red-handed being a hypocrite. Happy now? If it's not obvious already, I love Shantae. There's a lot I love about her. I mean, just look at her. She's got a cute face, strong hair, plenty of magic,
and a big, sexy
heart. Yeah, she's got a lot of generosity and love for her friends. Not to mention, she is my #1 dream fighter for Super Smash Bros. Yes, even more than Banjo. If this happens, I will have a heart attack. So I figured with the 5th game 7 Sirens coming out, I'd take a look at her previous adventure to build up some hype. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you my review of...
Shantae, Half-Genie Hero.
Half-Genie Hero was announced as a Kickstarter campaign in 2013 and was funded successfully with over $900,000. Sadly, I never funded this game. The game had released on all major platforms in December 2016, with a Nintendo Switch version released in June the following year, which is the version I'll be playing. So was the game worth crowdfunding, or was it a complete waste of money? Let's find out right now. So in terms of story, it's pretty basic but beginner friendly in my opinion. The story goes is that Shantae gets a warning from the Genie realm that an Agent of Darkness plans to destroy the realm itself. So, it's up to our hero to put an end to the agent's plans, no matter the cost. On top of that, Shantae's uncle Mimic is in progress of restoring an ancient machine known as the Dynamo, capable of generating enough energy to light up Scuttletown and keep pirates at bay. Speaking of pirates, Scuttletown is suddenly under attack by Shantae's arch-enemy, Risky Boots. And after defeating her and getting the stolen Dynamo blueprints back from her, we return to the workshop where we get a message from probably my least favorite character of the series, Mayor Scuttlebutt. I'm not joking, that's his real name. Excuse me! I just saved the town from a pirate infestation, despite some collateral damage, and my reward is that I lose my job? Again? See, this is why I don't like you. You're a useless old toad! Well, I just hope he doesn't try to find someone to replace me. That's it, you're not getting my vote next election. Meet Holly Lingerbean, our supposed replacement. And I use that term loosely. You'll see why soon enough. From here on out, Shantae travels all across Sequin Land defeating various enemies and collecting components for the Dynamo, along with her friends Sky, Bolo, and hey, look who it is! Roddy tops, oh Roddy, 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 Roddy tops, oh Roddy, 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 Roddy tops, oh Roddy, 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 Roddy tops. And that's all the story I can give, for now at least. Like I said, basic but beginner friendly for newcomers of this series. I think it was intended that way, and I'm okay with that, considering this is where I got my start in the series. Almost. There's also plenty of comedic moments to get a giggle out of you, whether it be through Shantae herself, her enemies, or her friends. While the story is good enough, this is where the writing shines in my opinion. Now, let's talk about the gameplay. As a half-genie and a belly dancer, Shantae can use different transformations to traverse the level. Anything from a monkey, an elephant, a harpy, a crab, a mermaid, bat, spider, mouse, hand, fingers, You don't get these to boot, however, as you'll either need to earn them or find them as you progress through the story. Unless you're playing half-genie mode like me where you get half the transformations. But transformations aren't the only tricks she has up her sleeves. She can also use her hair to attack enemies, and she can use classic staples, such as Stormpuff, Pikeball, and Spitfire just to name a few. You can buy these and upgrades from either the shop in Scuttletown, or from this Naga lady should you happen to run into her. They take up some of your magic according to this magic meter, so you'll need to use them wisely. Or just refill with potion if you're low on magic. If you're wondering where Shantae keeps all of this stuff, say hello to the inventory. If you pause the game, you can see what you collected or which transformations you have, whether it be stacks for health recovery or important items that influence the story, such as a whistle, where if you use it, you'll get sent to the overworld map via Sky's Bird Wrench, which is how you travel to each level. Speaking of which, let's go to Mermaid Falls.
That's a segue for the level design, by the way.
Each of these 6 levels has at least 4 sections to them. They may be simple in design, sure, but they are expansive enough to accommodate the collectibles. Unfortunately, this makes them easy to miss the first time around, either because you don't have a specific ability yet to access that area until later, or again if you're like me and didn't realize until you're a third of the way finished with the game. For example, there's this waterfall in the first section of Mermaid Falls, which I thought was just a set piece, and then I found this closed off area with a door to something that looked important. So I've been trying to figure out how to get in that area for minutes on end. It wasn't until another level that I found out you're supposed to ride the waterfall up or down as the crab or the mermaid. Am I stupid yet? I'll get back to this later. Right now, I gotta talk about the art style. I love it. The game is going for a 2.5D style with the level design, and it complements the gameplay cleverly in some aspects. The only example I can give right now is this particular boss battle with this Tazelworm, named Wilbur. Wilbur will shoot rocks out of his mouth and fall from the sky, and if you find one that's molten, you can push one into one of the cannons to fire right into his one eye. This and another boss battle is a clever use of the 2.5D mechanics, and I think they made the right choice to go with this style. But this isn't the first game to utilize 2.5D. Other games have tried and even perfected it, such as Klonoa Door to Phantomile, DuckTales Remastered, and even recently Mega Man 11. Speaking of Wilbur, by the way, remember Holly Lingerbean, our supposed replacement? Yeah, turns out she was actually just a memory who wanted to be the only one that everybody should have. And Wilbur is her pet who eats memories. Until we defeated both of them. Gotta say, very underutilized she was. I thought she would be a bigger threat than this, but they waste her potential by the 3rd level. Oh well, I hope the other bosses are better than her.
Can you tell that was another segue?
Boss battles can range from either easy to challenging, but nowhere near frustrating. In Scuttletown Main Street, you fight Brisky Boots with her parts omni-organic, partially titanic, ocean optional tinker slug. Jesus Christ, can I get a mouthful of shit right now? Or Poop Tooth for short. Bitch, you ain't the boss of me! I mean, you are a boss, but not of me. In Mermaid Falls, you fight a Giga Mermaid, which I assume is their queen. Tazeltown, yeah, you already know. Cape Crustacean, you fight Ammo Baron in his new Magic Carpet uniform. That sounds awesome, actually. And Hypno Baron's castle is self-explanatory. Only here, you fight 2 bosses at the same time. Hypno Baron and Squid Baron.
Huh?
My strategy to beating these bosses is pretty simple but effective. If you have Super Pike Ball or Scimitar, turn it on and whip away. Also, be sure to refill your magic often. We'll talk about the final boss when we get there. So, remember what I said about the level design and collectibles? Yeah, a common complaint people have with this series is the backtracking. Fair enough. I did have trouble finding a few collectibles, like in Mermaid Falls as I mentioned earlier. And there's one area in Cape Crustacean that screwed me over a lot. I hated the Stark Room. You have no idea how many times I tried to navigate through this area. Even with the bat sonar, I kept running into dead ends. And I do mean dead ends. Until I finally conquered that room. It was worth it though. In fact, you're better off using a guide to find every collectible in the game. Which is what I did. I wanted to try and play without any help this time because I did on my first playthrough. But I had to give in.
No. This isn't how you're supposed to play the game.
Shut up, I'm tired. And despite following the guide, I wasn't even close to beating the game 100%. Then again, I didn't feel the need to buy everything from the shop or the Naga. Actually, now that I think about it, while the backtracking is an understandable complaint, I do believe the game was designed with backtracking in mind. Which I think is the point of a Metroidvania in the first place. And that kinda renders all complaints, even my own, almost entirely pointless. But what the hell do I know? Let's wrap up the story. Now that the dynamo is complete, we can finally witness... Wait a minute. What's happening? Oh no! It's Risky Boots again! What's the meaning of all this? Well, remember when Risky gave up the blueprints when we first beat her? it turns out she pulled the old switcheroo and gave us the blueprints for her version of the dynamo instead. She explains that she wants to corrupt the genie realm to conquer their world along with all of Sequinland, which makes her the agent of darkness.
Surprise? Not really.
And in order to do that, she needed to trick Mimic into building the dynamo for her. With that, she takes off with the dynamo, leaving Shantae corrupted with dark magic. Luckily, she is saved by her friends with the power of love and friendship. Cliché, but effective. After all that, we're left with a choice. We can either go after Risky Boots now, which gives us the bad ending, or we can look for evidence as to where her lair is, which is the good ending.
Can you tell which ending I picked?
Once you find all the evidence you can find, Mimic builds Shantae a device to counteract the effects of the dynamo. And now, you're off to the end game. The 2.5D elements come back in the final boss, where you have to hit these electrical pillars to shut down the dynamo. And again where you use the corrupted genie's magic to destroy the machine once and for all. With the dynamo destroyed, Risky Boots is defeated once again. But in a fit of rage, she decides to self-destruct her lair, causing her and Shantae to quickly escape. And with all that, the world has been saved once again. Shantae got her job back, and maybe, one day, Shantae will have the chance to reunite with her real family. And thus, everybody except Risky Boots lived happily ever— Wait a second! Tim Curry worked on this game? Phew! That was a lot to cover. So, to answer my question earlier, was Half-Genie Hero worth the Kickstarter campaign? And is it the best Shantae experience in the series? Well, despite the setbacks, yeah, I definitely think so. This game has everything a Shantae fan could ask for. Excellent gameplay, clever level design, great writing, even a gallery with concept art, and even fan art! It's pointless when it comes to the internet, but I love it when games do that. And with the minor downsides I've mentioned, they don't really matter because this game is too good a value to ignore. With everything I've experienced, this has easily become one of my favorite games I've ever played. It even has DLC that gives Shantae extra costumes, and lets you play through the story through the perspective of Risky Boots and Shantae's friends. I didn't play through these yet, but someday I'll revisit this game and take a look at all the DLC as its own video. So, will I ever revisit the Shantae series and take a look at the other games anytime soon? Maybe someday, but for now, I'm gonna sit back and wait for 7 Sirens to be released. In the meantime, I'm confident in giving Shantae Half-Genie Hero the hit. And with that said, thanks for watching, and remember, subscribing is an option, not a demand. Oh yeah, how could I forget to mention the soundtrack? Somebody give Jake Kaufman a Grammy because— Oh my God!